how to get a great deal on your dream home. So not only finding your dream home, but also getting a great deal on it. Because so often it's assumed that either you get one or the other, but not both. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to have your cake and eat it too, and have both. Hi, I'm Phil Pustiowski with FreedomMentor.com. I'm a full-time real estate investor, real estate mentor and coach to many of the most successful real estate investors across North America and Canada. But that also means that I've been a part of thousands of single-family home transactions all across the United States and Canada. And so I have a tremendous amount of experience. Furthermore, I have mastered the fine art of finding great deals. Now, primarily that's always been focused on finding great investing deals. But those same techniques, those same skills apply to finding a single-family home that you want to own or rent to move into, your dream home. In fact, the technique I'm going to share with you on this video is what I did personally for my dream home that I live in right now. And this video is so special because it can apply to so many people. It can apply to people that want to be renting a home, but they may have bad credit. They just went through a foreclosure, and so all of the apartment complexes they've been to have been turning down their application. Maybe it's somebody who wants to be a homeowner, doesn't have the down payment, doesn't have the credit, but they still want to be homeowners. What if it's someone that just wants to get a dream home? They do have good credit, they do have a down payment, but they don't want to pay full retail price. So again, this really hits a lot of spectrums here, and the goal here is for you to be able to find your dream home and get a great deal on it. So what I mean by great deal is different depending on the situation. So if you're looking to rent a property, then a great deal might be, number one, just being able to rent, because maybe the landlord doesn't do detailed background checks and credit checks and whatnot, so you can kind of slide through the application process. Maybe it just means getting a lower rental rate than the market rate. Maybe it means even finding a place to rent in a certain area because it's in such demand. So great deal can mean different things for renting, and then for owning it could be as well. Either one, you want to find a deal below retail value, so you're buying it for less than it's really worth. Maybe you want to be able to work out a deal because you don't have a down payment, and you can work out creative financing terms with the seller. So again, great deal is a broad spectrum, and we'll try to hit it all here in this video as quickly as I can. Now, before I go any further, I want to draw your attention to a video I had put together previously called "Should You Own or Rent Your Own Home?" This video right here sheds some interesting light, some statistics, some findings that we've uncovered from all of our experience in real estate, and it's pretty surprising. So I want to encourage you to watch that video. You may have to search for it in the YouTube search, and check it out. It's 15-20 minutes long, some great information in there. Now also, I'll summarize it if you've seen the video and just need a refresher, or if you haven't and you want to make sure you fully grab all the wisdom in this video. And that is, the summary was this: if your time horizon is short, you want to rent. If your time horizon is long, assuming you don't overpay, you want to own. So owning can be a great option, but you have to have the plan to be in that property for a long period of time. Otherwise, in most cases, it's better to rent. Okay. Now, another little piece of this puzzle, and this goes right into what we're talking about in this video. So primarily, it depends on the part of the area of the country, but primarily if you're looking to rent, which, since I advocate renting in many cases, one of the problems is you're kind of left high and dry, aren't you? Because most real estate agents, real estate professionals, they want to work with people who want to own, because owning gets them a commission. Whereas renting, they don't really make much money. Now, I don't blame real estate agents. I am a licensed agent. I don't blame them for not wanting to spend hours and hours driving somebody around and searching different properties to help them find a place to rent for, say, $1,000 a month. Because they're not going to make much money. It's not worth their time. So I'm not blaming the agents, but the reality of the situation is, if you're looking to rent, you're kind of on your own. So what we're going to share in this video is a technique that allows you to kind of take control over finding your dream home. All right, so step number one And this would be also considered maybe a drawback. So number one, you have to know what you want. Dun dun dun. This is a real problem for a lot of people in life. They don't know what they want. In order for you to get your dream home, you have to know what your dream home is. I know that sounds obvious, but it's a really important detail. And so if you don't even know what your dream home is, that's going to be some additional research. Driving around, looking at houses, looking at things online, getting an idea of what you want your dream home to be. Now, many years ago when I was flat broke, I literally wrote out with great detail what my dream home was. Down to the bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, ceiling height, where it was located, being on the water. I mean, all these different details, so vividly detailed. Well, that's where I live now. I live in my dream home. And so I did have step one dialed in. I knew what I wanted. Now, what I mean by that, here are the main things. You need to know your area. That's huge. You need to know where you want to live. If anything, that's the biggest thing. You've got to have the geography dialed in. Now, that could literally be all the way down to one subdivision. It could be into a zip code. It could be into one little area within a zip code. It could be anywhere within a city. But you have to be crystal clear on where you want to live. So that's part of it. So I'm going to put that here as geography, okay? You got to know where. And again, if you don't know where yet, you're going to have to do some additional research. You're going to need to know what are the things you absolutely must have. So I'm going to call them your must-haves. What are your must-haves for this dream home of yours? Must it have at least 4 bedrooms? Must it have a pool? Must it have a 2-car garage? What are the must-haves that absolutely have to be there? Must it have a fireplace? These are the things that you absolutely have to have written down. Then you have your wants. Okay? So what has to be in that property, and then what are some of the things that would be nice to have? Right? So keep that on a list, the wants, but those are not as important as the must-haves. You got it? Okay. So when you have this dialed in, you know exactly where you want to be, you know what the must-haves are. Now we can move to step 2. All right. So step number 1 was to figure out what you must have. Step number 2 is going to be to create the list of people that you can target. All right, the list. We have a very, very special tool out there. It's the only one like it. It's a system called listsource.com. Listsource.com. They are the 900-pound gorilla data aggregator mailing list service that exists out there. But they have a very special list building tool. And in fact, here in this video, I'm going to jump us into that tool to show you what that is. And what this tool allows you to do is pick out exactly which houses fit what you want. And you can develop a list. And so the concept here is you pick out the exact parameters, where you want to be, what you must have in that house, and you select those filters or parameters, and then ListSource gives you the list of all the houses that fit those parameters. And then, step 3 is you mail to them. There you go. So you have the magical list. Then you mail to those people. What's that mailer need to be? I think it needs to be handwritten, and I think it needs to say something like, hey, my wife and I, if you're married, or hey, I'm looking to buy a home in your area to live in. If you're interested in selling, please give me a call and a phone number. Or if you're looking to rent, hey, I'm looking for a place to rent in your area. If you or somebody you know is renting their home in your area, please give me a call. It's that simple. This is not a complicated message. You want it to be real, you want it to be handwritten, you want it to be simple, and the goal is for them to call you back. Now, typically, direct mail response rates are 1 to 2%. You can get up to 10% response rate at this. So let's say you sent out 100 letters. well, 100 letters, let's say you get 10 calls back. Now all of a sudden, you've got some potential, you've got some prospects, and you've targeted just the stuff that fits for what you must have. And here's the great thing. These are often deals that were never on the market. Nobody else knows about these. So you're not competing against anybody else. So that way you can get a better deal. You can work directly with the owner. You can work out, if you're renting the property, a better rental rate. If you're working directly with the owner, you can work out creative owner financing terms. Which brings me to this point. If you want to learn more about what I mean by these creative financing terms, such as not having you get a bank loan, if that's confusing at all, that's okay. I've got another video called How to Buy Real Estate Without Cash or Credit. How to Buy Real Estate Without Cash or Credit. It's got almost 600,000 views at this point. It was actually a class that a lecture that I had taught at the University of Central Florida on the subject. So that will give you an in-depth view of how you would structure that. But the concept is, if you are mailing to this list that you've created, to you get at listsource.com, then you can mail to these people. Now, the first time you mail, you may not get what you're after. You may get some phone calls back, but none may fit. But here's the thing. You only have to buy the list once, because they probably aren't building all that many homes in that exact section you're at. So what ends up happening is you can keep mailing to the list to the people that didn't respond to you, once a month, say. I'm going to put that down here, and you may not be able to see it in the video. Once a month, or once every 2 months, until you get an answer. But you may be thinking, well, wait a minute, Phil. That means this may take a while. Yep. So this does have a drawback. It could take a little bit for you to get what you want. But this is your dream home we're talking about. We're talking about a great deal. Being patient, that's a virtue here. So this little outline right here can produce extraordinary results for you. So I will, again, at the end of this video, I'm going to take us over to ListSource. I'll take you inside the system, and I'll show you exactly how you create that list. But as far as mailing to them, this is not rocket science. Literally, just handwritten letters are the best. Handwritten envelope, handwritten letter, simple message. I'm looking to buy or I'm looking to rent in your area. If you're interested, call me back. Boom. And then if they call you back, you ask them all about the house. Again, you're looking for your dream home. So you ask them how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, does it have a fireplace, have a 2-car garage, all that great stuff. What's the address? These days you can look up an amazing amount of things just by having the address. All right, so if you are looking to buy, I'm going to give you a couple of other tips. In addition to this right here, if you're looking to buy, you may be wondering why I haven't mentioned the idea of a real estate agent. Well, again, if you can find the deal on your own and work directly with the owner, that might be the way to go. But if you are a complete novice and you are so scared about what happens after you talk to the seller, how you do a contract and all that stuff, if you're looking to buy, you can hire an agent, a real estate agent. But if you do that, you're going to have to pay a commission. And if you're going to have to pay a commission, that's not going to come out of the seller in most cases. It's really going to come out of you because you're the one buying. You're the one who had to hire this person. So if you're buying, you may want to hire a real estate agent to deal with the paperwork. But I would argue what you could also do, get this, is the title company. Or in some states, in some areas, they use closing attorneys. So whatever name you want to give it, okay? The organization, the company that does the paperwork for the closing, you can have them do the paperwork. You can literally call them up and say, hey, look, I talked to the seller, and here's what we've agreed upon. They've agreed to be the bank, and I'm going to give them $1,000, and then the other $99,000, I'm going to pay them back 4% interest over the course of the next 30 years. Can you drop the paperwork for me? Since they're closing the transaction, they're the best person to drop the paperwork anyways. So yes, you can hire a real estate agent to help you with the paperwork and the negotiations. Or you can just, the company you're going to have to pay for anyways at the closing, just have them do it. Another benefit of real estate agents, if you're buying, if you really want to, if you just have a complete quest, because New Year's resolution, you want to get your dream home, You could hire a real estate agent, but have them do what I call a, sorry, a little arrow here, MLS auto reminder. And so what this does is they plug you into their little software system, their local MLS, and they put in your parameters, what you're looking for, remember, knowing what you want. And then anytime a house pops up that fits your criteria, you get an email. And so you can be the first to respond to deals that get on the market. Now again, if it's going to be listed on the MLS, it's going to be a traditional deal. But if you've got a down payment and you can get the loan, you may want to put that into your repertoire, into your overall arsenal of finding that dream home. So your real estate agent, just sets that up, and then it's on autopilot. Does that make sense? Now, I had told you at the beginning of the video that this is what I did. So let me explain exactly how I did it. All right. So my wife had some stringent requirements, and I had all my stuff written down. So I used listsource.com, and I created a list, and there ended up being 109 matches or records. Okay, that was the count. So there's 109. And so I paid for that list, and then I just had my assistant do handwritten letters to that list. So I had the exact location, exactly where I wanted to live, on the beach. I had all these parameters. It had to have a pool. It had to have this. It had to have that. And so 109 records pulled up, and then those things were just handwritten letters were sent to them. Now guess what? I didn't find my dream home overnight. It didn't happen. Now I also did have a real estate agent who was local to that area. He had the MLS set up, and he was sending me those auto reminders. But what this was doing for me, the auto reminders were not going to be the deal I ended up doing. They were giving me an education on what the market value was, and that was helpful. So I knew what retail looked like. So retail price was going to be around this price and whatnot. So I knew that when I actually got to one of these records, I would know exactly what a good deal looked like. Does that make sense? So in this case, I was looking to buy, and if you watch my video, I'm usually a bigger fan of renting, but my wife wanted us to own, so own we did, and plus I got an amazing deal on it. I got just a tremendous deal on the property because it was a short sale, and the person was upside down, and it worked out a great deal. Point is, this is what I did personally, what I'm telling you I did personally, and this is what I tell other people that ask me. In fact, yesterday alone, 2 different people, one that we went to dinner with, and a friend of mine had connected me with somebody he wanted me to talk to yesterday. 2 different people, both of them, similar situations. One of them wanted to get ready for the next school year so they could be in a better school zone, and they said, Phil, can you help me find a better place to rent? And I told them exactly what I just told you in this video. And the other person was looking for another place to rent that was a lower rental rate, but was also still in the same area, and it was a nicer home. Told them the exact same thing here. This works. So you're going after and you're finding the opportunities that other people don't know about. They're not necessarily working with an agent. It's not already for rent on Craigslist or Zillow or somewhere like that. These are situations where nobody else knows about it, but you are direct mailing to that person, and they're connecting right back to you. And by the way, to go a step further, if you're going to be doing rentals, it's kind of the same thing. If you download the app Zillow Rentals, this app right here shows you on a map what properties are for rent for that are typically they're managed by property managers. But this gives you, again, retail value. It tells you what the market is. So if the market for your area, for the home you're looking for, your dream home is say $1,800 a month, well, you know that because of Zillow Rentals. And so when you actually get to that person and they call you and you work out a deal and you say, well, look, is $1,500, will that work for you? And they say yes, you know you've gotten a great deal. Does that make sense? All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is extremely powerful information. Again, I'm going to end this video by taking you inside of listsource.com, okay? I'm going to take you inside this service. By the way, this is an enormous company, CoreLogic. There's no benefit for me telling you to go here. There's no sort of like affiliate commission. But these guys have developed an amazing tool. I'm going to show you that here right now. This is listsource.com. This is the home page. You have the button for build list both right here and right here. This page may look differently years from now when you're watching this video, perhaps, but you're going to this feature here called Build List. And this is where you're going to build your dream home list. Now, the very first thing that you come to on these tabs you see at the top here is geography. So you have to choose a geography first before anything else. And so the criteria they give you is pretty extensive. Area code, census tract, city, county. I'm going to shortcut this for you. There's really 3 places where you may want to target. First would be zip code. So on a zip code level, you would choose zip code, you'd choose your state, and then you would then go further and you'd go find your actual zip code or zip codes, because you can have more than one, that you would want to be a part of. Okay, so if you wanted to just do a zip code like that. Now, what you could also do is get down to the subdivision level. Look at that. So you again choose your state, and I'm giving the example of Florida, but it's any state in the United States. And then you choose the county, and so then you can put in the subdivision, but you would need to know what the subdivision names are. You're going to need to know what those are. And then you could add each one, and you could add more than one subdivision. Okay, those 2 features are nice, they're helpful, but let me show you the best one of all. Look at this, the map search. Watch this. Actually, before I do that, let me click this. Let me get rid of that. Map search. Watch this. It's going to bring up a map. And now what you can do is you can zoom in to the exact area where you want to live. Okay? So we're going to give the example here of Miami Beach. And so from here, what you're going to do, if you find the exact location where you want to live, and let's say you want to go anywhere between this right here all the way down to maybe right here, what you can do is this. You can click Draw Polygon, and you can literally draw a polygon, or a shape, if you will, around the areas that are going to fit for you. You have to end up right here. And this system is able to pull the count of all the properties that are going to fit the rest of your criteria. So right now it's pretty big. It's at 13,700. So that's more than enough, right? What we're going to do is we're going to hone in. So first we have the location. This is pretty special, this tool they have right here. And so now we're going to go to property, this tab here, and you're going to add some demographics. So the first thing you may want to add is you want to have a certain number of bedrooms, from 3 to, say, 5. And what that's going to do is it's going to now narrow that down. So now we took that, what was, 15, 16,000 down to almost 3,000. Now we're getting down there. So maybe the bathrooms, you don't want any 1 bathrooms. You want at least 2 to 3 bathrooms. And this right here, you're going to have to go back and forth on. Maybe it takes away too many. Right now we still have a lot. And you can go through and add some more of these features here. Parking spaces, lot area, if it's waterfront or not, how many stories, the style, swimming pool, year built. So you can add these different items in here to further bring down the number of potential matches. Make sense? Okay, so one more thing I want to show you. That's the majority of this, and then you just click the bottom here to purchase the list, but this is obviously a pretty big list, so you may want to even hone down even further from a geographical standpoint or some of these criteria. One more thing you can do, and that's this. Under options, if you were looking to rent a property, especially, but rent or own, you may want to consider absentee owned. And let me tell you why. Absentee owned are people that do not live in the property anymore, which means it would be a whole lot easier to rent a property from somebody if the property already was not occupied by the owner. Now, it doesn't mean it's not rented. Some of these could be rented by somebody. It doesn't mean they're vacant, but it does mean that they don't live there anymore. Oh, one more little tip. I'm going to go back to property for a moment. I'm going to come down here to property type. Obviously, another thing that you need to do is you need to bring it down to the single family home level, in this case SFR. So the property type being single family home, now we're down to 163. Now we're down to a number that's very manageable. And you could even tighten this down even more. So do you see that this tool right here is incredibly helpful? And it's your own creativity. You could come up with some even more exciting ways to hone this thing down even more. Maybe you want to work with people that haven't sold their home in the last 10 years, and you can do that by last market sale date. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways you can further bring this thing down. If you want to work with somebody that has a lot of equity and you want to work out some sort of creative finance structure, well, then you can focus on just deals that have up to 100% equity. We'll see what happens if we do that here. That may bring this number way down. We'll see. Yeah, down to 40. That's very manageable. So in that area, there are 49 properties within these parameters that have no loan against them, and the person doesn't even live in the property. Now, you can even go one step further and only work with people out of state, because they might be even easier to work with. So now you're down to 10, but you think about that. You've got down to just those people that could, these properties that could be your dream home. So I hope you enjoyed this segment right here, and you need to play with this, because depending on your area, you may have to remove certain things as you add them, these criteria, and go back and forth to get to a list that's exactly what you want. But if you want to err on any direction, maybe you err on the side of a bigger list that you can mail more to, because that way you have more options. All right, well, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and if you have any comments, questions, concerns, just feel free to put those at the bottom of this video. And once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Phil Pustiowski with FreedomMentor.com. Let me know if you find your dream home through this technique, because I would be very much encouraged. Thanks for watching.